Okay, part 2 of showing off the cards that I got from Ren last night. So, Volcanic Island. Played condition, but intact, original. My original plan was to de-counterfeit, de-fake my vintage decks. So my vintage decks have counterfeit duels, power, Force of Wills, Wastelands, 1 Mana Crypt, and probably a couple of the cards I can't remember right now. So I thought Ren had enough duels for me to start replacing the duels in my vintage decks. He did not, so this will probably go in Jora EDH. Badlands, revised. All the duels that he had were revised. So this, what I'll probably do is put it either in my Karthus Elf EDH deck or in Edgar Markov. Karthus probably needs it more. Edgar Markov is pretty brutal as it is. But then I have Plateau. Another card is no home because I do not have a red-white EDH deck. I do not have red-white in any of my vintage decks. So if I put the Badlands into Edgar, then the Plateau fits too. I like the idea of having the cycle of lands. So Edgar Markov, there would be 3 duels. Karthus would be 3 duels. And if I only put 1 or 2, it's not mentally satisfying for me. But given how much these cost, I kind of have to make allowances. So Savannah, I'll probably just put this into Sigarda. I have a Sigarda EDH deck. This could also go into Rafik of the Many, but then I would need 2 more dual lands for Rafik. Tropical Island and Tundra. Tropical Island, I did get a copy, as I'll show you in a moment. But Tundra, Ren did not have. So 2 Taigas. This is another trigger for it. So out of my vintage counterfeit duels, the Taigas, there was something wrong with them, and I couldn't put my finger on it. And putting one next to the original Taiga, I saw what it was. So this Taiga, the art is kind of subdued. Being revised, it was a bit washed out. And in the counterfeits, it's a little bit darker, a little bit sharper. So actually the image quality is better on the counterfeits, and that was the problem. So I put my finger on it. But I do have 2 Taigas. So I could put one into Karthus. I don't have any other red-green decks, so Karthus being, and there's my Tropical Island. And this card is thrashed. My god, it's just beat to hell. But it is intact. It is definitely sleeve playable. And I could take it with the Savannah and put it in Rafik. So I just have to decide which deck needs the color support the most. Or I'll just take the single Tropical and put it into Edric. Again, haven't quite decided. Now for the piece de resistance. The number 1 card I got from Ren last night. Mishra's Workshop. I had one of these 15 years ago, and when I sold out, I sold it. I shouldn't have. I didn't know how much I would regret doing so, but I did. And then when I started playing again, when I immigrated to Europe, this was, I think, 150 euros when I started looking at it, maybe 200. I thought, I wasn't spending that much money on cards at the time. And then it went up to 500. And I thought, okay, that's just too much. Then it went up to 1,000, and I thought, okay, I'll never get one. But it's just too much. So I got counterfeits, and the counterfeits were unsatisfying. Some of the counterfeits look good enough, but this card, because for me it's mainly about the art, the counterfeits were too washed out. they weren't so crisp and clean. And if that had been the case, I probably would have been happy keeping with the counterfeits. But as it is, I never was satisfied. But then Ren, selling out, making conditions that encouraged me to buy more cards, had this. And I first saw it in his binder about a month ago, and I thought, okay, if you still have that next time I buy cards from you, I'll probably pick it up. And pick it up I did. So this will be going into Shroom EDH. This is one of the sort of cards where having a counterfeit is just on the border of being a jerk. This card is so powerful, 3 colorless mana for artifacts, but an artifact flavored deck, artifact heavy deck, it really accelerates the player. So if somebody sits down with me and they have a counterfeit Gaia's Cradle, counterfeit Dual Lands, counterfeit Force of Will, I don't really care. I don't. If somebody has a counterfeit Mishra's Workshop, and I started having to think about this myself as somebody who was playing one, it's right on the verge of being a jerk, because you have such a powerful card. Cards that cross over into being a jerk would be counterfeit Nether Void, counterfeit Evoke Prejudice. My personal philosophy on counterfeits, and if you saw my counterfeit videos, you know it, is that if you're going to put the effort into it and actually get the original card, and nobody likes it, well, nobody really can complain because you did put the effort. It is an authentic Wizards of the Coast printed card. If you're going to have a counterfeit card, disorder from China, then it's more questionable, and I can understand why people get upset with it. I won't get upset, I just, okay, so you have a counterfeit Infernal Darkness, not Infernal Darkness, counterfeit Chains of Mephistopheles, counterfeit Nether Void, counterfeit Abyss, I wouldn't really care. Another one for the art. Did I show this? I actually can't remember if I showed these, if I just skipped over the black or not. So, these are the cards I got from Ren. And some ideas on what I'm going to do with them. I hope you enjoyed this peek into it. And Ren, if you're watching, I hope you do keep some cards to make yourself happy, because I think you'll regret it if you don't. Ideally, your favorite deck, if not, just your favorite art. Anyway, that's it for today. Cheers!